When Miss Gwen Ifill arrived at public broadcasting service, she had already shaped an enviable career as a print and broadcast journalist, having worked as a reporter for NBC News, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Baltimore Evening Sun, and the Boston Herald American. She was respected for being objective and insightful. 12 years ago, she joined PBS's Washington Week, where she is the moderator and managing editor. She has since led provocative conversations with other award-winning journalists on topics important to all Americans. Ms. Ifill reports on diverse subjects, including foreign affairs and U.S. politics. To date, she has covered 6 presidential campaigns and moderated 2 vice presidential debates. In 2008, she earned a Peabody Award for Washington Week's 10-city series Road Show. Additionally, the Radio and Television News Directors Association, Ebony Magazine, and Harvard's Joan Shorenstein Center have honored Ms. Ifill. A graduate of Simmons College, she holds more than 20 honorary doctorates. Please give a warm Morehouse welcome to Ms. Gwen Ifill.
How wonderful it is to stand here. I turned to Professor Ogeltree right after Cameron finished speaking and decided I was just going to say, like he said, and then sit down. But I thought that might be disappointing, so here I am. Thank you, President Franklin. And congratulations to my fellow honorees, my AME brother, Charles Ogletree, Willie Flash Davis, and Billy Aaron. It's an honor to share the stage with you today. I'm thrilled to be with you here today for several reasons. Chief of all, because the sight of all what I see before me, these 500 strong college-educated black men, including at least one soon-to-be graduate, Jonathan Young, who I believe I held in my hand when he was born. It is, yeah, that's the Young family. I am thrilled to see you all in front of me. But I have to make a couple of admissions first. When word first got out a couple of weeks ago that I was going to be here to speak, the most remarkable thing began to happen. Strange and handsome black men began embracing me in public. Turns out they were Morehouse men. People began offering to buy me drinks in restaurants. Again, it was Morehouse men. Then when I arrived here today, I took one look at all of you, the Renaissance class of 2011. I knew my faith in the race would once again be reaffirmed. Once again, Morehouse men. And I knew I would be well received when I got here, because even though the sisters across the way over there at Spelman are getting their commencement speech today from the more famous of the 2 women who came down from Washington today, you still won the jackpot. Because I will not make you eat broccoli or jump rope. What I will do, what we all do, is honor your achievement here today. In doing that, I plan to adhere to the lessons I have learned about how to deliver the perfect commencement address. You keep it brief. No one came here to see you, not really. They came here to see you. You keep it upbeat. With the economy and the job market many of you are facing, there's enough to worry about without me adding to your load. And a speaker must remember her audience. The only people happier here today than the class of 2011 are your parents. The folks who've been carrying the weight of the expense, the worry, and the pride throughout your college careers and throughout your lives. Plus, I fully realize I am practically the only thing standing between you and a really good party. And I am told that Morehouse men do not mind a really good party. Right, he said. Still, many of you are a little bit nervous, and why shouldn't you be? The world is an uncertain place right now, and we're expecting you all to fix it, especially fix the mess that we made. And then there's this. It matters that you are educated and black and male. As we've seen during the last couple of years, electing one educated black male president did not end the struggle, and it has not changed many folks' minds about who you are, and that is something for you to tackle. But here's the difference between what you will be tackling and what your fathers and mothers confronted. Your future can be more about opportunity than about burden. Now, this will come as a surprise to many of the people you will encounter after you leave this place today. You will find that many of them want to hear only of the bootstraps that you pulled yourself up by. They are invested in the idea that you are the exception to the rule, that you are the transcendent ones, and that the fact of your race can now be somehow overlooked. They think they are being noble when they say this. They will boast that they are colorblind, which means, of course, that they are blind, and that they are rendering you invisible. They will be surprised to hear that we don't get up every day feeling burdened by our race. Indeed, they will be surprised to learn that we feel empowered by it. You see, to me, race is not all about grievance. It is also about pride and empathy and humanity and understanding the value of difference. But along with that, there are also expectations that we should set for ourselves and for others. We should expect to be treated as equal citizens. Our children should not expect to be inferior. We should all expect that anything is achievable, if not now, then soon. The alumni who have gathered here today to see you off will tell you that leaving Morehouse is about more than just a degree. It's a rite of passage that should give you the opportunity to ponder more than just the vagaries of the job market. As you emerge from the blur of graduation parties and finals and parties and the caps and the gowns and the parties and the degree granting, you'll find a whole raft of expectation awaiting you on the other side. So use this time to look inside yourself and come to grips with some home truths. Because if all you take from Morehouse is a really good college education, you will have missed the point. Home truth number one. Your experience here is only the beginning. You are educated, you are officially members of the elite, but you are not complete until you acknowledge that it is what is in your soul that will determine your life's success. And no one is better positioned to build on that clarity to help America move to her next stage than you. Home truth number two, as Cameron said, you are called to a mission. With or without a college degree in hand, we're all here for a reason. It may be just to change the world around us, or to change the world in our hometowns, or for our families. It may be to fix and to understand and to explain and to investigate. It may be to be a bridge among all of our diverse communities, including within our diverse communities. It may be to educate, like the professors and the academics who are leaving you today, we're sending you off today. But whatever it is, you must treat it as a mission, a responsibility, if you will, to care about more than just yourself, to affect the lives of those around you. Home truth three, know that you have limitless choices now. You can choose to build strong families, raising or helping to raise children, supporting siblings, paying your parents back, and I'm not just talking about money here, and honoring your grandparents. The responsibility is to step toward those choices, not away from them. Home truth number four. Today, you have the chance to fix a flawed relationship. You probably all know someone today who you're kind of not speaking to, some relative who's been getting on your last nerve, some friend you didn't say goodbye to because of some misunderstanding, some professor you had a fight with, some acquaintance who never believed in you, never thought they would ever see the day. Step beyond yourself and any resentments you may have. Make the first call and resolve to fix whatever flawed relationships you have today. Home truth five, resolve to cross a barrier. Now that barrier may be race, it may be gender, class, it may be disability, achievement, or expectation. But use what you have learned here about potential, the potential of rebuilt bridges and healing words to create new relationships where none existed before. It is our only hope as a nation and as a world, because the barriers are still dark. They're still there. The corners are dark. The world is often still resistant to change. But it's your responsibility now to shine a light, the light of justice, the light of understanding into the world. And it is as necessary as it can be satisfying. That's what we expect of Morehouse men, and that's what you will always now be. Thank you for allowing me to share in your day in the honor and the incredible achievement of getting to join you as an honorary member of the class of 2011. Thank you.
Gwen Ifill, we thank you. Your message is clear, your voice is strong. We are challenged and we are inspired. We thank you a great deal. Let's say thank you again to our extraordinary visionary and speaker. A native of California, Professor Charles Ogeltree earned a bachelor's degree in political science from Stanford University, where he was inducted into Phi Beta Kappa. He also earned a Master of Arts degree from Stanford and a law degree from Harvard Law School. Considered one of the most accomplished trial lawyers in the country, Professor Ogeltree has mastered balancing the roles of attorney and educator. Not only did he serve as a public defender in the nation's capital, he also practiced law with Jessamy, Fort, and Ogletree, and taught at American University and Antioch Law School. For 4 years, Professor Ogeltree was a visiting professor at the Harvard Law School, where he taught President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. In 1989, he joined the faculty, and in 1998, he became the Jesse Climenko Professor of Law. In 2003, he was appointed Vice Dean for the clinical programs. A year later, he was named director of the Charles Hamilton Houston Institute. Professor Ogeltree has authored several books and is a contributor in countless others. He is often quoted on the editorial pages of the nation's most read newspapers, and he is sought out as a moderator and a guest commentator. In addition to being named one of the legal legends among America's top black lawyers by Black Enterprise magazine, Professor Ogeltree is the recipient of the National Black Law Students Association's Nelson Mandela Award, the NAACP and Black Network's Personal Achievement Award, and the National Bar Association's Presidential Award for the Renaissance Man of the legal profession. I am honored to welcome back to Morehouse and to present to you Professor Charles Ogeltree.
Thank you so much, President Franklin and First Lady Franklin. I'm deeply honored to be here today, and I really feel like I'm stepping in high cotton with people like Billy Aaron, Gwen Ifill, Flash Davis, some remarkable people. But I want the parents and family and friends to join me in standing and saluting Morehouse College's class of 2011. If you're here for folks, let them know right now. Men, you've heard it, and I now want the men of the class of Morehouse of 2001 to thank your family and friends who are here. Stand and thank them for being here for you. The class of 2011. I can't tell you how pleased I am to receive an honorary degree today from Morehouse College. It's the most important thing that's happened to me in my career. It's important because I know that I would never have been a student at Stanford University or at Harvard Law School or a tenured professor at Harvard Law School if it had not been for the sacrifices of black women and men at HBCUs around America who opened up doors for people like me even though they couldn't go through them. Thank you, those who made it possible for me to do what I've done. And men, I want you to remember a couple of scriptures. I know this is not church, but this is Sunday. You got the warm-up yesterday, but I want you to always keep in mind at the end of your career, the second book of Timothy, the 4th chapter, the 7th verse. When you look upon your life decades from now, you should be able to say, I fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. That should be your creed. And at the same time, when you leave Morehouse today, I want you to go to the 6th book of Isaiah, the 8th verse of the 6th chapter, and it says this: I heard the Lord's voice saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, send me. That's your responsibility when you are called upon to be sent there. Now, I know I'm at a non-denominational university. I know there's a separation of church and state, and I respect that. But I know how deeply you believe in God, because I could hear you just weeks ago as you got on your knees before that final exam and said, Dear God, I know I haven't been with you as much as I should be, but I swear to you today, God, if I get out of Morehouse College, I'm going to continue to pray and love and appreciate you. Amen, amen, amen. And it didn't stop there, it just started there, because today we have people graduating summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and a lot of us are graduating thank you laude. So I know you believe in God. I know it's important to you. It's very important because this is not an easy time, men of Morehouse, to think about your challenges. And I think about the words of a famous writer who talked about the paradox of our time, about what we face today, which makes it hard for us to think about others and why we are sometimes too selfish. This author said, the paradox of our time in history is that we have taller buildings but shorter tempers. We have wider freeways but narrower viewpoints. We spend more but have less. We buy more but enjoy it less. We have bigger houses but smaller families. We have more conveniences but less time. We have more degrees but less sense. More knowledge but less judgment. More experts but more problems. More medicine but less wellness. We have multiplied our possessions but reduced our values. We talk too much, love too seldom, and hate too often. We've learned how to make a living, but not a life. We've added years to life, but not life to years. We've been all the way to the moon and back, but have trouble crossing the street to meet the new neighbor. We've conquered outer space, but not inner space. We've done larger things, but not better things. We drink too much, smoke too much, spend too recklessly, laugh too little, drive too fast, get angry too quickly, stay up too late, get up too tired, read too seldom, watch TV too much, and pray too seldom. That is the society that we face today. But that's not the society that our foremothers and forefathers created for us. And my message to you is very simply this. In your time as the class of 2011, you have to lift every voice, not just those around you. Lift every voice, the faceless, the powerless, the people who can't make it. They need you. You have to make sure that you believe, as our president does in this, that there's nothing false about hope. We have to have hope. I say that coming from a family of parents and grandparents who never finished high school. I say that sitting in church and watching the elders sing these songs like, I'm climbing up the rough side of the mountain. Why the rough side? They were talking about the reality of what they experienced, and they were paving the rough side so that we could climb up the smooth side. I'm thinking about Reverend James Cleveland talking to I Feel No Ways Tired. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. They have sacrificed for us. And it's up to the men of Morehouse College's class of 2011 to stand up and sacrifice for those who follow. I've had a great life. I've had great parents, great grandparents who are one generation away from slavery, and yet they made sure that I could go to college. I have a wonderful wife who I met Pam in 1971 when we first started as freshmen at Stanford. In August 9th of this year, we will celebrate our 36 years of marriage. I have two wonderful children, my son Chuck and his wife Rochelle, and my daughter Rashida and her husband Jeremy. And I have three fantastic granddaughters. And soon I expect them all to be across the way at Spelman. 9-year-old Markel, 7-year-old Neil May, and 3-year-old Jamila. And for Jamila, I have a special responsibility for her Morehouse men. You know when she was born? January 15th, 2008. She was in the hospital as I went there to see her, and she didn't understand a thing I said, but I said, Jamila, there's another great one. Born on January 15th. Went to Morehouse College. It's the greatest African American in the history of this country. And you have to recognize that Dr. King made it possible for you to be who you're going to be. So this 3-year-old is knowing, why is Papa always telling me about January 15th? Because we have to remember the past if we want to make sure we achieve what we must achieve in the future. Let me end with these 2 points. One is that when I talk about there's nothing false about hope, I think about a great citizen of this world. 1962 in South Africa, facing a charge for fighting for patriotism, to be a free man in his own country. That man was Nelson Mandela. And he had a choice, because he looked around the courthouse and he saw all the lawyers were white, the judges were white, the wardens were white. He had a chance to seek mercy from the court when he's about to be sentenced when he was fighting for justice in South Africa. And you know what Nelson Mandela said before the judge as he was about to be sentenced to death or life? He said this. He said, during my lifetime, I have dedicated myself to the struggle of the African people. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an idea which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an idea for which I'm prepared to die. 1962, he didn't die. In 1990, he walked out of that prison. In 1994, he was elected the first, not first black president of South Africa, the first democratically elected president of South Africa, because every vote counted. That is the challenge for the men of 2011, to open up those opportunities. My first year at Stanford, I had the great honor of doing something that makes me even more proud to be a Morehouse man. We had an address from Dr. Benjamin Mays when he retired from Morehouse. He came to Stanford, and I had the honor of escorting him to the World Series where the Oakland Athletics were playing in Oakland. To spend 6 hours with Benjamin Mays was like spending an eternity with a philosopher king who understood the challenges that we faced. He was in the twilight of his life, but he still had that spirit, that energy. And as you think about what he said then and what we remember about Dr. Benjamin Mays, he said, may you forever stand for something noble and high. Noble and high. That's what the men of this class must do. And I think about Rosa Parks, and I think about what she means to us today. I think about my good fortune in being able to mentor people like Michelle Obama, the brightest woman in the world. And her husband, President Barack Obama, he's smart too. But it's not just their intelligence. There's something about President Obama that we need to understand. When you think about President Obama, he's come a long way. And I've said this before, and I mean this with every conviction in my body. When you think about it, Barack Obama is the quintessential black man. He's overcome the challenges. Remember that he was born in 1961. He'll be 50 in August. Barack Obama in his entire lifetime spent one period in life with his father. Barack Obama's mother was pregnant when she was a teenager. Barack Obama was raised not in the neighborhood by his family, but around the world by his grandparents. Now, if I were to ask you, what happens to a black man born in America 49 years ago, never had a relationship with his father, his mother was pregnant as a teenager, he moved from place to place, where would he be 49 years later? You would say on drugs, dead, or in jail. But no, no, no. That black man is at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, and God bless him. Let me end here by saying this. When Barack Obama finished Harvard Law School in 1991, he had a choice, and we had a conversation. He said, Tree, as he called me, I was the president of the Harvard Law Review. I've earned the right to clerk for the Supreme Court of the United States, like every other president of the Harvard Law Review. As a magna cum laude graduate of Harvard Law School, I could go to a law firm and make $100,000 right now. I've earned it. But I made a promise to the people of Chicago that with my education, I would go back to the community and do something that made a difference in Chicago. Can I give up the Supreme Court? Can I give up $100,000? Can I go back to Chicago and be a community organizer? And I said, Barack, yes, you can. Now, don't get things twisted. Barack Obama has never given me 1 second of credit for giving him the best phrase that made him the great man. But it really wasn't me. It was actually Dolores Huerta with the farm workers in California who came up with the phrase, "Sí se puede." Yes, we can. Right? Before we even thought about it, when you talk about the rights of people, yes, we can. And I say to the class of 2011, your mission, when you look at the young people out here, the young children who are 3 and 5 and 7 and 9 and 11, and they're asking you, can I be president? Yes, Jamila. Can I be a rocket science? Yes, Jamal. Can I change the world? Yes. Your phrase to every person you see from this day forward has to be yes, 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 you can. As a member of the class of 2011, I'm proud to be part of this class, but I'll also be part of that class like you who will go in the doors of opportunity, but leave them open for the next generation because we know, yes, you can. Congratulations.